Hi, my name is Rosie Seaver, and I'm a student at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I'm involved in the Library and Information Studies department, and this presentation is part of a class on library technology. As part of this class, we had to create a website and put together this tutorial. So today in the tutorial, I just wanted to show you around the website that I made, give you some ideas about how the site could be improved, and then also give you some resources I found helpful when I was creating my first website. So we can go ahead and get started, but I ask you to keep in mind this is the very first time in my life I've ever had to use HTML and CSS to design any kind of web page, so it is very basic. So this is my home page. As you can see, I am a really big fan of the Animal Crossing games by Nintendo. Played tons of them over the years. The fans are very active online, and people are always enjoying sharing what they're doing in their towns and their unique items that they collect. They spend a lot of time on their cities, building friends. So it really makes sense to want to create an environment where you could maybe track how your town is doing. People could come and look and see what animals live there. There's a lot going on in the game. So people already share this kind of information on sites like Tumblr, but to be able to build your own website, you will be able to talk about the activities that are going on in your town in more detail than something where it's just photos and quick updates. You could really keep kind of like a record of everything that's happening. So as you can see on this home page, this is the name of my town. It's called Pebble. It's got the Animal Crossing logo, and I chose to include photos. These are actually from my game. So we have like the house and the museum over here, also the store, just kind of cute images. Then of course I have this navigation bar over here on the side, which was one of the trickiest parts of the entire site, I have to say. It took a lot of research to be able to do this part. But you definitely need to have it. So I have some links here to help users navigate. There's the town history, and of course it's a very short history because this town was created on June 9th. It's a new game, so but I have listed here included information about all the different releases for Animal Crossing, so they're all on here kind of from like a historical thing, and this might be an area that someone would want to kind of compile a history of, okay, the town's existed for this long, what are some important events. A lot of people like to make up stories about things that have happened in their town, so this is kind of a good area to do that. My personal favorite section here would be Meet the Townies, because that's one of the fun parts of the game. There are hundreds of little animals that can move into your town. So what I did was I created a Who's Who in Pebble, and I was able to get these images off a site. It's called Nookopedia, and it has all this information about the game because it's so popular. And so then I was able to do a little write-up about each character's personality, what they like, funny things they've said. I had a really good time doing this. I know this is really popular, and a lot of people who play the game will have favorite animals, so it's really important to have a list right there. One thing I could have done if I'd had more time would be to make these images links to take you to the Nookopedia, so you'd actually be able to go to that entry and see more information about each animal. I also have Mayor of Pebble. You get to meet the mayor. Once again, I have photos from my game. This is really cool. It's in a little aquarium that you build, part of the museum. So in this particular game, you play as the mayor. So I wanted to use some features, like here's an ordered list right here. You can really make the organization really neat using these sort of features, and kind of talk about the duties of the mayor, things that they're responsible for. So the ordered list definitely helped in this capacity because it really makes the organization look pretty neat. Then I have future plans. There's always stuff to do when you have a town. So I was able to use, here's another ordered list feature. I was able to do this part talking about what the animals want to see change in the town. It was just kind of a fun thing to do. So now that I've given you a basic overview of what my site is like, I wanted to give you an idea of some possible improvements that could be made anyone could take the site in a different direction. But I really think it needs even more links. You'd be able to link it to, like your Tumblr if you had one that just had a lot of quick photos, Wikipedia with all the information, even other users. People really, there's a big sense of community and they really like sharing things with others. So people would come to your site, you could go to theirs. I also think it would be helpful to add in pages for tracking collections and items. There are hundreds of things that you can collect. So it would be kind of nice to have a centralized place where you'd know what you've gotten before, or if someone was looking for an item, you may have it. That would be really kind of neat. Also, there should be a lot of information in the residence section that I just wasn't able to add. Like their houses are all unique, their personality types, just a lot of information about them, their catchphrases. It would be nice to have all of that in one spot. So now that I've gone over some of the ways I think the site can be improved, I wanted to provide some resources that you can get help with HTML or CSS. I had never used either of these before, so I really needed a lot of help when I was putting this site together. And I've realized that you really can do a lot, and I would like to continue to learn all these skills. Most helpful site I found was codeacademy.com. It has you do a bunch of exercises and it builds on the previous exercises, so it's actually pretty fun, but you're learning the basics. It really helped me when I was putting this site together. Also, w3schools.com kind of used it as I'm having a specific issue, what's going on. It was more of an instance specific thing. I didn't do any of the tutorials, but they do have them there too. And then finally at the end, I was using the validator because you're able to plug in your code and it will automatically check to see what kind of errors are there. So when you're having problems actually putting the site online, that was very helpful. So in this tutorial today, I've given you a brief overview of what my site entails. I've shown you some ideas about how I think the site could be improved, and I've also given you some resources I found helpful when creating my first website. I really encourage you to give HTML and CSS a try. It can seem intimidating at first, but if you're able to use those resources, you really can do a lot.